Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to part 14 of the TOS Enterprise build. Today is going to be doing some photo etching. We're going to do some photo etch for the chiller grills on the nacelles. There's 4 little detail parts towards the back end of the nacelles that get grills on it. And then we're also going to do some puttying around the shuttle bay door area. We got the shuttle bay door in and the tailpiece in, so we can start doing some puttying in those areas. So let's take a look. Alright, I got base coat of gray on the saucer, the nacelles, the secondary hull with the pylon and neck. That came out really good. And then what I did is, now looking for any little imperfections, any little dirt. And we had a couple runs here, which I sanded smooth because they're never major, because they dry pretty level. Any other scuffs where there's a little dirt or anything like that, went through. I hope those are I'm gonna lightly sand those again there. Everything looks good. Everything looks really good on it. But then what I did is I took a tip from Boyd over at Trekworks, where to fix that seam in there, he takes the perfect plastic putty and then hits it with a little bit of water to thin it out, because it is a water-based putty. It makes like what he calls a slurry. And just like I'm doing now, because I see another little bubble. You know, those little openings in the seams. And you just take it in there and brush it, and it's so thin it'll take a couple applications if you have a real deep groove, but this one wasn't too bad. More on this side. This side, you know, one coat kind of covered it all, except for way up in the upper end. And did that open up there again, or is it just shadow? I think that opened up. We're going to shove some in there. Sometimes you got to start off with a thicker version of the slurry to really fill the bigger gaps. And it's hard to get a good brush in there too, so you got to have a really good, especially up in there. Got to have a really good long, here, this one will work, bristles. There we go. And we'll just go over this edge here. And then I just take a Q-tip, or I've been also using another brush, so I might do that. Just dipped in water, one of these flat ones. Get these in water before they dry with putty in them. I'll just dip her in water and try to pull some off the shuttle bay doors, so we don't have any clumpy. And the nice thing is, even if it dries, it's water based, so that eventually softens up and will lay flat, nice and flat. But there, yeah, that's how you kind of fix those seams in there. Like sometimes if you have bigger ones, don't make it so watery. Maybe a little thicker, which is what I should have done. But we'll let that sit and dry and see how that looks. And then I can go in there and tape some things off and airbrush, and then I'm going to airbrush all that inside there around the shuttle bay door, and also the back piece too. I'm going to hit with the hull color. And then that way I can actually put this back on, and then we just fix these seams. And I'm not spraying so much around that open door, because there's no real good way to mask off that getting stuff in the shuttle bay, except for sticking some type of paper towel or something in there and then taping the floor. That's what I'm going to do. So when I'm doing my big sprays, I don't really need to, I'm not going to need to hit the back half, because I'm going to have it all pre-painted. Once I get the putty done for this being on, and that, which I'll have to probably go in and hit the putty area with some black too, to light block it. And once we fix the seams here and on the bottom, we can put this on and then airbrush, you know, touch up those putty areas. We should be good to spray the rest of the hull and not really have to poof, blast down the back half, you know. Alright, so what we're doing now though is looking at all these dark gray pieces, and I'm going to glue the photo etch on all these, and then there's one way over here, which I don't know why they put this one way over here when there's a spot for it right there. Yeah, and these just get glued flat on. I need this side to cut them out. Drill all those holes in it. Take them off in pairs, and then we'll work on them as we need them. I'll clean them up while I'm here. Very nice. Alright, only 2 more left. And then we're going to do the same to those. Trying to get the super glue kind of even so it doesn't squirt out between the grills. So that defeats the purpose. This super glue squirts up into those little grill holes and fills them up. And where's the last one? Here it is. Oddly on this screw when there was a space for it. This is still weird to me. I'm sure there's some reason for it, but there we go. Now we'll just scuff them and then they're ready for paint, and then we'll grind around the side, but I do want to see how they fit in the pylons themselves. But that's those. Now, let's move on to this. And for that, we don't want these little stupid things all over it. Which also means I should clean those. There we go. Alright. Now these smaller ones have bevels, but you do see the little line to bend them over. So we're going to start with those since they're probably going to be the most fun to put together. Again, we got to clean up all the burrs. Go. Start off with you. Nice. They'll go on there fairly nicely. That worked. Alright. Let's see if we can get this to lay down good. Especially the bent ends. Well, they did a really good job. Very nice. Let's try this one. We'll do the same thing. put so much glue on. Very nice again. So another one that went on nice. And what are we down to? Just the big ones. And I also want to put the impulse piece in because we can paint all that. We can paint all that while they're on the plastic parts. That's what I wanted to get them on now. Because they'll stick better to plastic, the super glue. Now this has a similar thing going on, but only one end's folded. There's one tab that you don't quite get. Those would be cool to put on. I do want to get another one of these and do a pilot version. Or a mirror version. I like to do both. Do like the second pilot and then mirror version as well. Yep, and stay on there, that bends. So we'll do a little pre-bend. And there's the end that bends. First I want to lay it down, make sure everything looks good. Yeah, it does. Beautiful. We'd be done already. Nice. Just a slight bend, but I'm using that to catch the bend that's on the plastic piece. to, but to do it. There we go. It's photo etch grills. Like I said, I'm going to go through, not going to bore you that, get this to fit. I know Boyd said something about I have to sand this edge to get it fit in there. We'll get that glued in. And we'll get this, I choose which one I want. One totally doesn't have, just has the grills, and then this one has like a square box where it's, you can kind of see, you'll have to see with the photo etch because I don't think it's going to come through. Definitely not in the camera, but here it kind of has a little keystone shape in the centers of these square grills, and this one has a complete square shape in those square grills. I don't know if you can get any of that on the camera, I doubt it, but that's what I'm going to do next, but I won't bore you with that. That's just simple. That just goes in. You just line it up in the center and stick it in. We don't have to do those because I don't even have those parts. We don't have to do the whole thing because I have the 50th anniversary. So the holes are in the right place. So we don't have to worry about that. And we got that done. And that done. And we just got to do that. And that's all we need off this photo etch kit. And I think I'm going to go with a keystone one just to give it a little different kind of a shape when the light goes through it. Well, hello and welcome to an update. Just puttied all this area to make this photo etch nice and smooth and fill in that gap. So I want to hit that with a little bit of this gray before we go paint the hull. Make sure there's no weirdness there because it's hard to really tell. And then filled in that with some of the Tamiya surface primer, fill in that gap, and some glue at first. And then we'll touch all that up. Really it's just this outside platform, but I might do that seam the same gray as the floor of the shuttle bay. And got all these seams even up top. All those are done, sanded. So we can actually start taping this off. Not too worried about. Maybe I'll hit it a little bit in those areas. But yeah, she's ready to get masked up. And maybe I will touch up in a little bit in there. Get a gray coating on all this. I'm pretty happy with that. What's going on there? A little roughness. Be a little bit of an illusion too. But no, that's looking all good back there. As best as it can. That little slurry with the perfect putty, you know, flattened out pretty nice. I don't think you'll ever really notice. So I've been really happy of the versatility of that putty, being that it's a water-based acrylic, I believe. Not saying what it is, but it's water-based. So glad I picked up 2 tubes of it. Alright, so yeah, let me mask this up. And then I'll hit it with the primer gray. Definitely down here, but I'm probably gonna, I should hit everywhere. I still see a little. I don't want that to show up as a what do when I hit these? I don't remember if I hit these with the 800 real lightly. Yeah, that looks so much better. Yeah, that's better. I'm gonna do all my little checks because there's so many things going on. In just this little area to make sure. All just so you don't get hit in the shuttle bay. If you didn't have the shuttle bay, it wouldn't be such a big worry. You could just go back there and then blast it with some paint from the gun. But yeah, let me do all those things that I said, and we'll be back. Yeah, so masking that wasn't too bad. All I did is took a big piece of the thick blue tape, laid a piece down about like that, took my circle template and looked at this to see what was the closest diameter, just kind of holding it underneath and kind of looking. I think it was 1 3/8, or it might have been the 1 1/2. Not sure right now. But anyway, this cut out a half circle, peeled that up, and actually just stuck it in there and it worked just fine. It's got the perfect arch to cover what I need to cover, and it went in there and laid down and wasn't in the way, and then I just stuck some of that foam in there. And we're good to GO. So that was pretty good. Off the spray.